Hello and welcome. In this video I'll be talking about some of the key points in doing an academic literature search. Doing research is always guided by a particular interest, maybe even a particular question that you might have. It should always be this interest or question that guides your search. Therefore, if the material that you find does not match this criteria of relevance, you should move on. Searching for academic literature is a two-step process. First, you gather material, and second, you sort this material with the purpose of studying it. An academic discourse consists in communication going back and forth between a number of authors. Unraveling the points of discussion and arguments of this discourse is the goal of an academic literature search. A criteria for a good literature search, therefore, is that you are able to map out this discourse with regards to its major contribution and main points of contention. There are a number of strategies that you can pursue when gathering material for your academic writing. The first and most obvious is to locate the readings that your initial reading have in their bibliography. Even if it should be an easy task to locate these, it's not always the case. Some of them might be old, some of them your library might not have access to. Another strategy is to use online search engines, SmartCat, Google Scholar, Web of Science, and the like. These all have their qualities, and you will most likely find that you prefer some over others. Because of this, it's usually a good idea to try your search in different ones. When doing so, it's never enough to just use one keyword as your search criteria. One of the characteristics of theoretical language is that it consists in conceptualizations. It is very safe to assume that these differ across theory traditions, and it is therefore important to draw up a set of keywords that you can try out in your search. In the beginning, the goal is not to find the key contributions and download these. Remember, you don't know what these are yet. If you did, you wouldn't be searching. What you want to aim at instead is creating a pile of everything that might have the slightest relevance to your interest or question. After having searched and downloaded material for a while, it is time to start sorting it. When sorting material, the first question that you should have is, what is the nature of the material that you have gathered? Is it a book, an article, a blog post? Different academic formats are used to make different kinds of points. A book, for instance, is good for developing a whole theory of something, while an article might be an excellent piece of writing for developing parts or clarifying certain aspects of a theory. Perhaps the article is an illustration of a theory with some empirical evidence. A blog post is usually written to draw attention to a book, and thus reading the blog post may be a good way to find out whether it is worth your time to read the entire book. A common fallacy today is to assume that the newness of a particular publication is an indicator of the quality and validity. This is typically an assumption that we find in a society where it is believed that science makes progress, and thus the newer the publication, the truer. But I would argue that this is a gross simplification and misunderstanding of the process of science. If our inquiry is guided by questions, then it can be detrimental to our thinking to only consider sources of a recent date as valid. Questions of the past may be closer to your question than questions asked by your peers. Have these 2 points in mind when you're sorting through the material that you have gathered. The sorting step itself is relatively simple, but can be rather time-consuming. Basically, you want to aim at sorting your one big pile into 3 separate piles. That is, one pile consisting of the material that turned out to be irrelevant, one pile consisting of the material that is relevant and must be read in full, and lastly one pile consisting of the material that is relevant but marginal to the discourse and can therefore be skimmed for orientation. Go through each item by reading title, abstract, first chapters and conclusions until you find that you can make the judgment as to which pile it goes into. Usually the texts that must be read are those that are central to the overall academic literature that you are interested in, while the material that can be skimmed consists in either minor contributions, clarifications, or the like. Once you have sorted through everything that you had gathered, it is time to start reading the pile you determined to be relevant. After having done so, you should take note of how much your thinking and interest have changed. If necessary, start the whole process anew. Thus, in conclusion, searching for academic literature is a two-step process where you first search for the literature based on interests or a question. Then sort the material for study based on relevance to that question or interest. And remember, after having finished the process, once you will likely find that you need to do it all over again. That is it for this video. Thank you for watching.